Hi guys and welcome back. And today I want to talk a little bit about my Atemoya Geffner and when you may want to pollinate your Atemoyas, and that determines when you are able to harvest your fruits. So this is an Atemoya Geffner. I've shown you guys my Lindstrom and my African Pride. As you can see, these fruits are more spiky than the other varieties. And to me, this looks better actually. I like this look better. It looks more tropical than the other fruits to me. But different people have different opinions. So whatever you like, plant them. So for Atemoyas, it is a hybrid between a cherimoya and a sugar apple. Usually, most of the time, or I would say 100% of the time, it is a grafted tree. Usually, it is a cherimoya rootstock, and then this is your Atemoya Geffner branch. So so right now it is December, mid-December, and these fruit here, I pollinated them. I believe it was mid-July, late July, and throughout August. The reason for that is because I wanted to be able to harvest these during Chinese or Vietnamese New Year. So for Atemoyas, my experience here in SoCal, they are ready to be pollinated starting, I would say, June. Usually, the earliest I pollinate them is mid-June, and then the latest I would pollinate them is like I would say mid-August. Because if you pollinate them any later than that, you run into the risk of not able to harvest them this season, and the fruit will sit through winter and not be ready until the following season. And one of the reasons why I want to pick them during the Vietnamese or Chinese New Year is because these can be quite expensive. These this particular one right here, it is a grade A. You can see that is beautiful. It's evenly looking, and these can run to be about maybe $14 or $15 a pound at the store. So so two of these here can set you back $50. So they are quite expensive. And for Vietnamese and Chinese New Year's, you always need fruit. So I pollinated them with that in mind, so that I don't have to buy these during the Vietnamese or Chinese New Year. But if you pollinate them early in June, mid-June, then you would be able to harvest them in maybe November, and early December. And so I have harvested maybe about maybe 5 or 6 fruits already on my Lindstrom and my African Pride. And this one right here, um, you shouldn't be doing this actually. So as you can see here, it's a flimsy branch, and I set one fruit at the end. And if I didn't tie it up, that branch would have broken off. Same for this one right here. It is on a very flimsy branch. So if I may have to tie this after this video, or else the branch might break. Um, I know this is a mistake, but I had no choice. Just because, uh, I grow this in my backyard, and I don't always have pollen ready to pollinate them. So when the flowers that were right around here, this would be the ideal place to pollinate. When those bloom, I just didn't have pollen, so I couldn't pollinate them. So and I had to settle for these guys right here. So hopefully, next year, between my trees, I can have the pollen that I need when I need them. So for Atemoya, you can cross pollinate them, and that works. So these guys here, I use my African pride pollens to pollinate. So, but the reason for that is because uh, if you know a little bit about Atemoya flowers, when they first bloom, um, here, let me show you a flower. So right here, so this is a flower. So when it first blooms, it is a female flower, and then after a day or so, by around like maybe 4 or 5 in the evening, it turns into a male flower, and that is when you can collect the pollen to pollinate a female flower. But if you had only one flower, right, once it turns into a female, you can't you can no longer pollinate it, right? So make sure you have enough flowers in your backyard to pollinate them. And with these pollens, you can save them in the fridge for about a week, and it will still be effective. But in my experience, that never worked for me. It was always the fresh pollen that worked. So yes, there is that tip out there to fridge them for a week. But in my experience, it's just my personal experience, it never worked for me. So that that is the reason why these two fruits right here are not in an ideal location. So that is it for today. I hope you guys like the content. And if you do, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more from my garden. And one more thing, I will have the scions, these scions on sales on eBay come spring. So if you want to buy a sky for me to graft onto one of your trees, I will have the link in the description come spring. Thank you and have a good day.